Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Silver.
It's Marshall Silver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
Well, hey there, and Happy New Year. I am so glad to be chatting with you. For those of you that don't know this beautiful face, it's me, Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker. And for those of you that have no idea why in the world you'd want to watch me, gosh, I understand completely. But here's the deal. You want to watch me not only because of my supernaturally good looks, you probably already know about all that, but you want to watch me for something you may not know. We are testing today. This is simply a test, so it's going to be very informal. I'm going to be bouncing around. Things are probably going to break. And at the same time, no matter what happens, I'm still going to give away bundles of cash. I got stacks of cash to give away. I'm going to be giving away bundles of cash. And it's really not even a contest. No, it's much simpler than that. It's an ethical bribe. What is an ethical bribe? It means I pay you money to do something I need you to do. What do I need you to do? I just need you to watch the show. I just need you to participate by calling into the show. I just need you to tell all your friends about the show. And when you do that, I'll just give you buco bucks. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you cash and more cash and more cash and even more prizes and cash down the road. So let me explain what my idea is. First and foremost, this is a test. We've got some new tech that we've put in to screen calls, to handle some of the logistical processes we've got. I also am faced with an unexpected dilemma. And when you get a dilemma, what you should do is make the lemonade. And that's what we're going to do. Turns out that Meta won't let me advertise this marketing concept that I've come up with here. They think that I'm a scammer. They think that nobody just gives away money to people that simply call into their show and ask a question. Got to be a scam. And then I took it one step further. I also said I'm going to not only pay the people that call in, including you right now, 1-877 Silver One. I mean, talk about sexy. We'll pop it up on the screen for you so you can see how sexy it really is. 877 Silver One is the 800 toll-free number that you can call in. Tell us what question you want to ask me on the air. And obviously, we can't get everybody that calls in on the air. We've already had about 20 people call in just from the email we sent out prior to this test. So we can't get everybody on the air. We want to get you on the air. So call in. You will, using AI. I mean, we're high-tech, baby. Using AI, we're going to transcribe your message, see what your question is. And to get a nice blend of the calls we can put on the air during the hour, which is usually about 4 or 5 calls in an hour, you'll be receiving a message. The message will say, yay, we're locking you in for today's show. The producer is going to be contacting you through the green room. Or we'll say, that was a great question. Unfortunately, today, we just don't have room in the queue. But every single caller that calls in during my live show, and the live show will happen 5 days a week. We're going to be testing today. We're going to be testing through the week next week. The following week, I've got a live event here at Studio Money. And then the following week, we will go permanently live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. till noon Pacific time. And every single day, the first hour, will be me teaching you content, bringing on very cool guests to teach you more content about living well, about better relationships, how to increase your financial status, your emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual well-being. Every single day, 5 days a week, that first hour will just be filled with life-changing content. The second hour of the show, this is what's cool. In the second hour of the show, we will open up the phone lines in what we call the vault. And when you call in to the show, you'll be screened. We want to know what your question is, of course. You'll be put on the air when you're interesting enough. And doesn't matter what the question is. Doesn't matter what the content is. Doesn't matter how long the question is. Every single question that gets on the air, every single person that calls on and has a question for me, that person will receive for that conversation and that question $100. You talk about a Franklin that easy, just that quickly. Every single time you call in, not just once, but you can call in Well, heck, as often as you're interesting and get another $100 every single time you call in. That's really cool. But here's what's even more cool. Meta won't let me run ads. And for those of you that know anything about advertising on Facebook or any of the platforms, it's an expensive proposition, number one. Number two, I really don't like the idea that I'm giving my money to somebody I don't know. I'd much rather give it to people that I know, like you. So that's what the show is going to be doing, is that I'm going to be doing my show 5 days a week. Second hour of each day is all about you. Calling in to 877 Silver, SYLVER 1, 877 Silver 1. You call into that number, we get you on the air. There's no contest. You simply are gifted $100. Not maybe you'll win, not you got to win. And I'm asked, I was actually talking to a major promoter about this who has millions of people in his database, and he's always liked me. He's been a follower. He's been a student. I've helped him make millions and millions of dollars. And I explained to him what I was going to be doing, and he said, "What's your budget for that?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "What's your budget? I mean, how long will you give the money away before you stop?" And I said, "Au contraire, you don't understand me." I said, "I'll never stop giving the money away." I mean, that's the point. If I have to run ads to promote my show, I'm giving the money away already. So I might as well just give the money away to the people that are building my show, the people that not only watch my show, the people that also tell other people to watch the show. I said, that's the easiest thing. I said, but here's the cool thing. You know, if I was walking down the street today and maybe I'm on my way to go have lunch with you and maybe another one of our friends, and I look down into the gutter and I see a $100 bill, well, of course I'm going to pick it up. Who wouldn't pick it up? Only a moron wouldn't pick it up. So I'm going to pick the $100 bill up. But guess what's going to happen when I get to lunch? I'm going to go to lunch and I'm going to say, hey, I just found a $100 bill on the street outside. Lunch is on me. And I'm going to buy us lunch. And one of the people that are at lunch with me for sure are going to say, gosh, I sure hope I find $100. Well, guess what's going to happen when you just call me and I just Venmo you within the hour, $100. You're going to take that $100. You're going to go to lunch with your two friends. When the tab comes, you're going to say, hey, it's on me. Marshall Silver bought me lunch today. He gave me $100. All I had to do was call into his show and ask him a question. He just gave me $100. He's like a crazy millionaire guy. And you know what your friends are going to say? They're going to say, you know what? We should probably call in and talk to Marshall and let him give us $100 too every time we call in. And you know why you want your friends to do that? Well, if you haven't figured it out already, when you call in, you get $100. When your friends call in, they get $100. Yet when the friends that you referred to my show call in, you get $20 every single time for every single friend you referred. I know. Just one more reason to love me. I know it's exhausting, isn't it? There's so many reasons to love me. I just want you to understand, I'm doing this for selfish reasons. Yes, I'm a decent human being, and I work really hard at being a decent human being, but this is purely selfish. Don't think that I'm this generous guy. It's selfish. First and foremost, the amount of money I give away every single day is equal to probably less than I would spend in ad spend. And as we have more viewers, yeah, I'm going to increase. It may go up to $200 for every call or $500 for every call, or $1,000 every time somebody calls me. How great will that be? But your question is, why would I do that? I did an experiment back in 2013. We called it Get Rich Radio and the $1 Million Training Network. And we did something similar, a little more complicated than this. We did something similar, and we escalated. We got big fast. In fact, we got big so fast in 2013, we kept crashing the servers. We had to take it off the air. This is different. This is direct. This is simple to understand. You call in within the hour of the end of the show. We go through, process all the people that called in, and you immediately get $100. And we don't know whether we're going to use Venmo or some other. We'll let you know. And once we figure out that, that's what this testing is all about. But you'll receive that $100 very rapidly. And if you went to MarshallSilverLive.com, if you just stumbled on this broadcast and you haven't registered yet, go to MarshallSilverLive.com. When you do, all you got to do is log into an account. We just want to see that you're a legit person. You log into the account. The moment you log into the account, it's going to also give you a dashboard as an affiliate. There's no cost. Doesn't cost you anything to do it. You're going to log in as an affiliate in the dashboard, and you'll immediately see there are both assets and there's also shareable links on the homepage. All you got to do is click one of those links, share it to your social media platforms, and when you do, people will click on that ad or that promotion or marketing piece for the broadcast, and they will be immediately coded to you, immediately and forever. So the faster you do this, the sooner you do this, the sooner every single person that sees it via you rather than via your friends, they'll be coded to you. Now, that's the first part that's really great. And that's easy cash, no challenge. I mean, the content itself is going to blow your mind. Every single day, I'm going to teach you. My guests are going to teach you. The content alone, even without the cash bonuses, would be more than enough. But when you go to your Venmo or wherever we end up sending the cash, when you go to that account that you haven't seen for maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you go, gosh, there's $300, $400 there, and I didn't do anything, and you're going to realize that all came from me because you referred your friends, my prayer is that you're going to tell more and more people. One of the lessons that I live by, and one of the concepts that's made me over $800 million personally and made my students literally billions and billions and billions of dollars collectively, is the idea that velocity is the speed and frequency in which your money changes hands. Let me repeat that. Velocity is the speed and frequency in which your money changes hands. Let's imagine that I am in Las Vegas and I want to head back down to San Diego to see my family. And it's late. I get in the car. It's about 5 o'clock at night. I get in the Rolls Royce and I start driving from back from Vegas to Carlsbad. Now, normally that should take me 3.5 hours. I drive fast. The 15's always open. I like driving quickly. Usually takes me 3.5 hours. Other people probably 4.5. This particular trip, though, on this particular day, it's 5 o'clock on a Sunday night. Unbeknownst to me, it's the last night of EDC. Now, for all you amateurs out there, you amateur partiers out there that don't know EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, it's a rave. And 250,000 people descend upon Las Vegas for the rave, for those days that the party's going on. They're all wearing furry hats and glow-in-the-dark necklaces, smoking funny little cigarettes. Because it just ended, they're all in their cars heading from Las Vegas back to Southern California, because that's where all people that wear furry hats and smoke funny little cigarettes live. So they're all on the freeway heading back to Southern California. And so it's bumper-to-bumper traffic going back. A trip that normally takes me 3.5 hours, I'm 6 hours into the trip, and I'm only 3/4 of the way there. It's 11 p.m. at night. I'm getting sleepy. And I think to myself, I either need to get a cup of coffee or I need to get a motel. And so there's this little town in the middle of nowhere. It's Flea Bite Town. There's nothing there. There's a motel there, which the letter M on the sign is burned out. So it's not really a motel. It's an hotel. So there's an hotel there. There's a bar restaurant. There is a grocery store and an automotive repair shop, gas station. Nothing else, just the people that live there. And so I pull off the freeway to go to the hotel. I pull into the parking lot, it says vacancy, and there's no cars in the parking lot. So I'm thinking, yeah, no kidding. I'm already freaked out, but I go inside the lobby, and when I get into the lobby, the guy behind the counter says, "Welcome to our establishment." And I say, "How much to stay in your fine establishment?" He says, "It's $100. And I look around, and I'm sure he can see the puzzled look on my face, and he smiles at me. He says, "We're the only game in town." And he starts to sound a lot like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, so it's got me a little bit worried. So what I do is I say, "Sure," and I take $100 out of my pocket, and I put it on the counter. And when I put it on the counter, I say, "I'm going to go check out the room. If I like the room, I'll stay, keep the money. If I don't like the room, I'll come back, get my money, get a cup of coffee. I'll be on my way." I no sooner get out of his eye shot. He snatches my $100 off the counter, runs across the street to the bar, slams it down on the bar top, and tells the bartender, "Hey, bud, this should cover my bar tab." The bartender picks up the $100 and says to the guy drinking at his bar, "Hey, Rusty, this should take care of the repairs you made on my car." Rusty grabs the money, looks at the guy he's drinking with, says, "Hey, John, this should take care of the groceries I bought at your grocery store." John takes the $100 bill, winks at the woman at the end of the bar and says, "You know what this is for." She grabs the $100 bill, runs across the street back to the hotel, puts it back on the counter where I had left it, and says, "Honey, I want to pay you back the money that I borrowed from you." I decide I'm not going to stay. I come out and I grab my $100 bill. I go get a cup of coffee. I get on the road and I drive the rest of the way home. My question to you is, were those debts paid in full? The answer, of course, is a resounding yes. So when you wonder, why would I do this promotion indefinitely? In fact, my intention is that as the show grows, it won't be $100 per call. It'll be $200 or $500 or $1,000 for every single person that calls. Why would I do that? For so many reasons. I'm going to pay the money out anyway. I would rather, I'll probably get throttled for this on the social media platforms. I would rather just give you the money rather than spend advertising. I'd rather just give you the money and let you put down your replicated link, tell people about the show so that you can get paid rather than Mr. Zuckerberg. No offense, Mark. None intended. You just have enough money already. And I think my viewers, I think they need the money right now more than you do. But here's the other thing. For selfish reasons, I know for a fact that, and this is what's going on in our world right now. This is what Trump is doing here in the United States. I know for a fact that when I put money out into the economy, just like I said, you take that $100, you take your two friends out to lunch, you tip the waiter or the waitress well, generously. I know that that money comes full circle. And just like all those people on my imaginary trip from Las Vegas, all those people that have that money floating through their hands, what happens is the economy gets better. Your economy, my economy, everybody wins. That's why I'm selfishly doing this for my children, for my babies, because I want their lives to be better. So it's that simple. So before we dive in, and I'm going to start taking your calls right now. If you haven't called 1-877-SILVER1 and let us know what you want to talk about, you should do that right now. You should also, if you have not already, do this every single day. Like I said, this is a test today. This isn't the actual broadcast. Next week, we're also going to test all of the systems. And even though it seems simple, there's a lot of weird moving parts. Like, how do the calls get processed in? How do we pay out the $100 every single time somebody calls in a very quick and efficient fashion? You're not going to be waiting days. We're going to get it done as quick as we can as soon as the broadcast is done. How do we track everybody to make sure that every single time you share on social media or any of the platforms or send an email to your list or tell your friends, text them with a copy of that asset? How do we be sure that we can track that came from you? All those working parts coming together, and it will all end up being glorious, I promise you. But that's what's going on. That's what we're testing right now. We'll test it today. We're about to start taking your calls in a moment. We will test it next week. In fact, next week, I'm going to do my best to do it in real time, 10 till noon, Monday through Friday. And then the following week, we've got a live event going on, so I won't be live during those days. Yet the intention is that we'll launch right after that, which is the 19th. And so be it. Plus, we got all sorts of cool stuff going on here at Studio Money. I've got a charity show that we're doing, entertainment show, January 31st of Real Hypnosis, Really Funny, right here at Studio Money. If you're in the Southern California area and you'd like to come out and support a good cause, see a really, really, really funny show, then you'll have a chance to do that. We also are hiring tons of people for 2026. We're hiring salespeople. We're hiring coaches. We're helping speakers launch. We're helping people launch podcasts right here in Sterling Worldwide Studio here at Studio Money. So lots of great stuff going on. But one of the things that I really want you to understand is that 2026, where you are right now, is about to be the greatest year you've ever had on so many levels. I'm a hypnotist. I see things differently than people see them. I watch things and have a great eye to discern when stuff is just crap, when it's BS. And we've seen so many things recently that are just flat out insane that they certainly, they warrant a conversation. Of course, because we are live, in the news in the past week has been a young man named Nick Shirley, a Mormon guy. I think he's 20 years old, 22, 23 years old, young guy. Has never drank, has never smoked, never done drugs, still a virgin. And he's a citizen journalist. He goes to Minneapolis, knocks on some doors of child care centers there, and all he says is, "Where are the kids?" All the windows are blocked off in every single child care center. Now, I have a sister that runs a child care in Michigan. The windows aren't blocked off. There's no reason to block off the windows. But the windows are all blocked off in all these locations. The doors are all locked. There's no cars in the parking lot. So there's no staff. If there's no cars in the parking lot, or maybe one, or they're not taking care of 40 kids. That's illegal. That's not happening. So they're not in operation. So he exposes he's claiming to be about $110 million, which you would think, if that level of fraud was being exposed, tax-paying citizens like you and me, you would think people would be happy with this guy. But this poor kid's receiving death threats. Oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. And it's like, it's boggling to me that people will only see what they want to see. My own wife said, I don't get it. Just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk helps launch Doge, and they attack Elon Musk. They start burning down electric cars because they're so angry that Elon is in there uncovering fraud. So here's my take on it. Whether it's Nick Shirley or Elon Musk or anything in between, anybody that's angry about somebody exposing fraud has a motive. They're either in on the grift, they're on the take, they're benefiting themselves in some way, whether it's cash or votes or public appeal. Maybe they're trying to leverage certain relationships and they need to hold certain positions to be able to advance those relationships. If somebody is supporting not revealing fraud that taxpayers are paying for, and this is clear, not a question. I mean, one of the daycare centers, the day after the video came out, got broken into. And the thieves didn't steal what thieves normally steal. No, they just stole all their records. They just stole all the employment records, which I can't imagine any use a thief would have for employment records. They stole all of the kids' records, which, again, no clue why they would have any use, unless maybe they're setting up another. They found out how profitable daycare centers were, and they're setting up one down the road, and they want to steal the clientele. And then they said they stole the checkbook, which, again, I'm not sure what use the checkbook could be. You just shut the account down. So nothing of value was claimed to be stolen, only things that happen to be convenient to be gone as the audits start to occur. So at any rate, my whole point in all of this is I want us to be able to have legit conversations. I want us to be able to talk about your relationships. You know, if you're having a hard time with your wife, or maybe your kids won't talk to you, or maybe you just aren't happy yourself, I want to talk to you about that. I want to help you with that. I also know that I want to talk to you about world circumstances. And, my team, they know me. And if you know me at all, if you've watched me before, maybe even come to any of our seminars, you know that I don't have a filter. I don't like lying. I don't like people that are liars. I cut right to the chase, and I call things what they are. So, on this show, the topics we'll talk about, anything's going to be fair game as long as they don't deplatform me, which they will sooner or later, because they deplatform everybody that's a conservative that has a solid voice. But before that, we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about gender and the fact there's only two. We'll talk about who the problematic people are in the United States, regardless of their skin color, just the problematic people in the U.S. That's the distinction. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. Doesn't matter what your religion is. The question is, do you assimilate into the culture of the place you are? That's the only thing that matters. We'll talk about how ridiculously corrupt the government is, because Lord knows, how can you get through Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner without talking about politics and more? But I'll tell you, what I'm looking for the most are your calls and the juiciness of your questions. One last thing, too, if you are an Inner Circle member, if you're a part of my Inner Circle member, and we have over 1,100 people at this point that are a part of my mastermind, not only should you be sharing this every single day, and we'll chop up the content every day, we'll drop it into shareable packages so you can put it on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. You can post it everywhere with your link inside of it. You should be, as an Inner Circle member, sharing every single day, 2-3 times a day. Hey, check out Marshall Silver Show, because here's the other benefit to you, including an Inner Circle member that I'm going to chat with in a moment, Chase Lively. Here's the benefit to you. The benefit is that when you share the Marshall Silver Live post, when somebody logs in, they are permanently coded to you. And when they get to Turning Point, which they eventually will, you'll also get some really hefty, big back-end checks that could range between $15,000 and $20,000 every single time you refer somebody to Turning Point. So I know you're excited about that. So without any further ado, this is our test run. That's not what I said. My son's over here producing the show and realize now is starring in the show too. This is fun. By the way, I want to point this out. My son Sterling Marshall Silver is producing the show for me. 14 years old. The guy's not only a rock star, I mean a literal rock star. He's already written 4 remarkable songs, including a song dedicated to me. That's not the only reason I'm biased, but he also is just a whiz. I don't know if you have young people in your life, but whenever I need something done, technically, I just ask Sterling or Maximus or Prosperity or even my wife, because to them, it just is. To me, it's a rotary phone to them. Let me just put it that way. Tech today is a rotary phone to them now, if that made any sense to you. So I'll let you do it. Who do you want to have go first? What do we got? Diane Higgins. Hello there.
Hi.
Welcome home.
Well, thank you. I first ran into you or discovered you through Marcus Rothkranz.
Oh my gosh. I love Marcus.
I love Marcus. I love Kara. And I'm
Oh, yeah,
friends
those
with
two.
Jennifer
For
as
those
well.
that don't know Marcus and Kara, Marcus Rothkranz is a modern day Da Vinci. This guy is brilliant in every way. He's one of the leading authorities in the world on raw foods, he and Kara. And he's one of the leading authorities in the world on longevity. He is a remarkable filmmaker. I mean, just astounding, Oscar-worthy filmmaker. And he is a Rembrandt, a Picasso. He is right up there with every fine artist the world's ever seen as far as artists go. So any friend of Marcus Rothkranz is a great friend of mine.
Well, thank you. That's quite an honor.
But you know you're required to ask me an interesting question now.
Okay, I have one for you. I'm a kind, considerate individual, and I have just been hit with a trifecta of fuck in the last 2 years. Through COVID, and I did not take the job. I lost a job that paid me a lot of money that I was very good at. My husband died. My favorite cat died. My truck broke down. And I now live in a cool little camper van. And you know what? Here's the thing is I am grateful for everything, but you don't have to pay me. But if you could please help me learn how to manage money. I'm pretty good at things, but I loan people money and money seems to just slip through my hands. I don't know if you know this other person. His name is Steven Sitkowski. I'm training to do options trading, and he's an awesome mentor, market mastery. And I just have so much trouble. It's almost like I feel I don't deserve it. Like I'm 63. I have a great dog, and that's my question. Can you help me, please?
Well, yeah, 2 things, 3 things actually. Yes, I do know Steve Sikowski. I do know
He's
what
awesome.
I do know what he teaches and the stuff that he's teaching. It sounds to me that you have some other immediate challenges, though. So
Oh, yes.
first and foremost, I want to congratulate you on this test for being the first person today that I'm giving $100 to. So cha-ching. You said I didn't have to give you $100. I know I don't. I'm not doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because I want to, and I'm doing it because even $100 makes a difference to even me. So that's $100 for you. So you're very welcome for that. But here's the second part. Yes, I'm very sorry about the loss of your husband. I'm sorry about the loss of your other companions and all of the stuff that you've dealt with. I've never been fired from a job I wasn't ready to quit. And I also didn't take the jab, nor did anybody in my family. I wouldn't have allowed them to.
No, me neither.
And at the same time, though, since I've never been fired from a job that I wasn't ready to quit, any employer that would put me in a position to have to compromise my own beliefs about what was safe or good for my own body isn't somebody I want to work with, no matter how much they're paying me.
Well, it is the film industry, and I'm what they call a locations PA.
Yep.
And basically, I'm what they call a fixer. Now,
Yes.
have you ever seen a movie called Spotlight?
Of course.
Okay, I was one of the PAs on that show. So if you notice in the opening, there's a big scene where they've got a Trans Am going through by a police station. Well, I'm the one that made that happen because we had so many complaints to the neighbors. So I went and I fixed it. And I was really, really good at my job. But I didn't get fired from the job. The film industry is a fear-based industry. And what if is the thing. So I didn't take the jab. I refused to do the face diaper and the nose rape. So, and I just have lost too many friends. So I was persona non grata. I mean, I've got an incredible resume, and I'm very good at problem solving. But that job was like, I mean, and when I lost the job, I didn't go into self pity and say, "Oh, why me?" I just got another job. We paid way less, but for me, being useful, the watchword of my existence is how may I serve? How may I serve?
And that's the challenge. That's your challenge. And I want you to understand this. You're not selfish enough. And the reason
I've been told that. I've been told
well,
that.
it's a fact. You're not selfish enough. Like I established already before I started doing this show today, I'm not giving this money away because I'm this great and generous guy. I'm giving this money away because I'm a selfish guy. And I selfishly want you to win because I selfishly know that when you win, you'll tell everybody else about me and I'll win even bigger.
I already
So
did.
your challenge is because you're not selfish enough, you can't win because you don't have any grain left over at the end of the harvest season to tithe into the next year for your future crops. That's the challenge you keep running into. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to ponder this first and meditate on this, Diane. There's a way for you to win that's different than how you've been doing it, and it works. First and foremost, that whatever you thought was working for you before inside the industry, which I'm extremely well versed in, having self-produced a major motion picture myself, having also, been involved in TV and radio and other movie projects my entire life, I get it. And I would also agree that the deeper you go into Hollywood, the deeper you go into film and television, the more corrupt it gets. The more nepotistic it gets, the more biased it gets, the more controlled it gets, the more bought and paid, all by politics and deep state that it gets. So it's horrible. That's why really good films don't get made, like The Sound of Freedom or things like that. And other films that are absolute pieces of crap get made because it's a money laundering scheme. So the bottom line for you is that you have a skill set, a set of talents that you can still utilize. But what you can do right now, what you should be excited about doing in 2026 is finding people that align with your ideologies, like this show. Finding people that you say, I believe in what he's teaching. I believe in what they're talking about. I feel 100% supported because here's what I think is going to happen. You got your Mark Wahlbergs and you've got your Jim, your Mel Gibsons and your Jim Caviezel's of the world that are seeking to do quality projects in quality ways. And certainly Mark Wahlberg and Jim Caviezel, two opposite ends of the spectrum of what kind of content those people are going to do. But you've got people that also have morals and ethics and want to do things in the right way that are saying, we're done with Hollywood. We're going to open up our own studios. We're not doing that woke BS anymore. And I think that's why we're in a glorious time. Everybody votes with their wallets. I don't know if you saw recently that the animated biblical story of David is crushing it right now. Absolute sleeper of a movie is crushing it. Why? Because as I was talking to some friends yesterday, my belief is we're in a pendulum swing. It got as bad as it could get during the COVID era and the Biden years, got as bad as it could get. We're on the opposite side of that pendulum swing. So as bad as it got, it's going to respectively get that much better now. Took about a year. We're already seeing it. Gross national product is up in the United States. Inflation is down. Revenue from tariffs are coming in 4 times higher than expected. The amount of businesses pledging to move their factories here to get more people working, which creates more velocity. More people have more stuff to spend. Everything works better for here in America. And it's selfish. Yes, I'd like to see it work here in America first before one dime of my money is sent overseas. I mean, it's just how it's got to be. And I pray that the other countries feel that way about their citizenry too, that they don't give a dime of their money away anywhere else until their own challenges are handled. Yeah. So number one, I'm going to do another gift for you, Diane. Where are you located?
I'm in Port Hope in Ontario in Canada. But I am a dual citizenship. I am a dual citizen.
Lovely. So you can come to the States.
Actually, I just bought land in Arizona.
I love you.
And I have a YouTube channel. And here's the funny thing. I'm a musician by trade. And I was signed to a label, which is a whole another kettle of fish. But the funny thing is I spent a lot of money and a lot of time putting together this video for a song I wrote called We Will Be Heard. It got 123 likes. And when I put a video of my dog licking the inside of a peanut butter jar, 400 views. And I rescued
So
a
maybe
woolly
you
bear
should just
caterpillar.
play. You
400
should play the
views.
song to the video of your dog licking the peanut butter jar. So here's my gift to you. Number one, I'm going to give you $100. Number two, I'm also going to give you 2 tickets to come be with me live at Turning Point. The tickets are worth $6,000. But those are my gift to you to help you make 2026 better than ever. Thanks so much for calling in, and I will chat with you on the other side. God bless.
Bless you too. Thank you so much, my love.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Life is good. So again, we're in a remarkable time. Things are changing, and a lot of people got displaced. A lot of people suffered from COVID. We had built a theater here in Southern California. When COVID hit, the landlord, unfortunately, we were shut down for a year and a half, and the landlord leveraged the building out from underneath us. So now we have a bigger and better building. So if I had cried about the fact that we had lost our original theater, we wouldn't be here. 31,000 square feet of studio money, world-class remote studio like the one that I'm in right now. We've got a 400-seat theater where we can host your live events. We've got another 100-space seminar space and a VIP room on top of it. Way too cool. Too much fun. If you want to get on the air and get an instant $100 from me, 877-SILVER1. Call the number. We've got Chase Lively on the air. Chase, welcome home.
Hey, how's it going, Marshall?
It's always awesome. How are you?
Awesome. I was actually on the phone with Jordan Solomon, and we were mapping out 2026 for me, and we're talking about some things. And one of the things we were talking about was dreams. And I mentioned, he said, what are we going to do to get your first deal? And I was talking to him about some opportunities that I have, and they're massive opportunities. And he said, yeah, you need to definitely talk to Marshall. I said, okay, sounds good. So the question I have for you is, the Section 125 plan is something that Jim is trying to push me pretty heavily on, to business owners to help serve them. One of the things that I've been able to identify is within my own organization, the director of benefits. We have 26,000 employees, just about. And then there's another potential client and another potential client with about 3,000 employees. And it sounds like I make about $15 a head for each employee per month. So there's a couple $100,000, right, per month. My biggest question is how do I get a meeting with these owners, these decision makers, at that level that they're at? Because I have a semi relationship. They know who I am, but they don't know me from this side of things.
So you just answered your own question. They need to understand that you're not just a salesperson working in their organization. You're a trooper that wants what's best for the organization. So not only are you out selling their goods and services, you're out looking out for their best interests. And you stumbled upon an opportunity for them to save hundreds of thousands of dollars on payroll and also generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in other opportunity. So the thing that I want you to do is stop focusing on your lack of expertise in this particular area and acknowledge that you have an expertise about the company and the company's needs that far exceeds that. Anybody can talk about the particular insurance or R&D credits or plan that you might present to them, but only one person's going to be able to have your unique perspective to talk to them about those things from the viewpoint of somebody already inside the company. The biggest challenge you have right now is what you just said, and that is the fear that they're only going to see you as a salesperson, therefore not take you seriously about another topic, when the challenge is you've never talked about the other topic for them to even consider taking you either way. So your challenge isn't how will they take you. Your challenge is you haven't talked to them. So in addition, yeah, obviously, because we have a relationship inside of Dreams and we have a relationship inside this process off the air, I'll also give you some very specific scripting. But generally speaking, because you asked a more broad question, how do I get through a gatekeeper? Generally speaking, you have to understand what's in it for the gatekeeper. And what's in it for the gatekeeper can be something really simple. some high perceived value, low cost thing. We're testing an opportunity right now. We're actually recruiting some street teams, people that will go out and knock on business doors and tell them about what we're doing here in the local Southern California area where Studio Money is. What we're using as a premium is that every time one of these street team members knocks on a door, instead of saying, hey, I got something to sell you, they knock on the door and they say, I'm here to drop off your complimentary show tickets. Whose name should they be in? Well, that opens the conversation with the gatekeeper. If the receptionist is at the counter or, at the reception desk, if it's an office, then what happens is now they're intrigued. What show tickets? They're looking for something fun to do that weekend. So what show tickets? So one of the things that I always recommend to salespeople, no matter what they're selling, is what could you come up with as a premium? Doesn't have to be something out of your pocket. Doesn't have to be something that costs you anything. It could be a report that you scouted online, teaching people how, I sell home renovation, teaching people how putting $10,000 of renovation into your bathroom will increase your property value $50,000, whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be something that actually costs me money, but what we want is something that has a high perceived value. Make sense?
Yep.
Awesome,
Okay.
man. Well, congratulations on the opportunity, first and foremost. That is huge. I am looking forward to holding your hand and walking you through the first 2 or 3 deals so that, you're making strong 6 figures every single month and working half the time so you can take care of your beautiful bride and your brand new child.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Thanks,
Take
Marshall.
care. God bless.
Hey, real quick, is there
Yep.
anything that I can do to be serving you? I appreciate it.
Yeah, post this interview on social media using the link that you use to log on to Marshall Silver Live. That
Okay.
number one, yes, you get $100. I told you, ask the question on the air. People sometimes message me and say, I got a question for you. I say, ask the question on the air. So not only do you get $100, but when you repost that link about the show, and we're going to test every day next week. So Monday through Friday next week, 10 a.m. to noon, I'll be here doing the show live. Every single person that logs on via your link, and people will. I know how this goes. We did it before. It's going to go viral. And the moment it goes viral, you're going to wish that you had told other people who jumped in underneath you via somebody else's affiliate link. So, yeah, share the link that you got at Marshall Silver Live. That's the best thing you can do. God bless, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Life is good. What time is it? 1:42. I got time for another call, at least one more call. And let's put somebody attractive on the air. Oh, no, not that guy. He's ugly. No, let's do that guy. Yeah, that guy, Dustin. He's a good-looking man. Let's put him on here. Hey, young man. Welcome
doing,
home.
sir?
Glad you're here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, brother.
Well, I know you are a busy man. Looks like you're calling me while you're actually doing your work and running your company.
Yeah, I just got done. I got that new office I was talking to you about, and I had to put some work in today, so I went over there painting all day today.
Well, we got to get you out of the painting, but I think that it's kind of therapeutic to you.
I think so too. Yeah, I just kind of, man, I like get in there every now and then and, just see what my guys are doing. And when I'm there, so much more productivity gets done.
It's weird how that works.
Yep. So my question is, I just bought that building. I talked to you a little bit about it. So I have 2 different rooms. One is 1,500 square feet, and it's more of like the conference style event center. And then there's another one that's like aerobics, that the people I bought it from had aerobics and classes in there. So I'm really debating on keeping the aerobics room, which is about 400 square feet. It's actually 532 square feet. So I'm debating on renting that portion out for, let's just say, $700 a month, which I believe that I can make more money renting it out per class, because I would get a 60-40 split, but then I have to find more people to come in, different trainers to do that.
And
so
suddenly you're in the leg warmer business.
what do you mean?
Forgive me. It was an aerobics reference.
Okay.
Leg warmers. Apparently, I'm older than you.
Just a little bit.
Wow. So your question is, should I rent it short term or should I find a full term client? You don't want to be in the aerobics business. You don't want to be in the class booking business. That's worse than an Airbnb because now you're talking about booking hours. What you want to do, if you're going to go that route at all, is find somebody that will come in and have them manage that whole business and have them get paid solely on booking that out, either by paying you your flat rate every single month or paying you a lesser rate to make sure that they're committed. So if you're going to rent it out for $700 and that was all good for you and you're cool with doing that, or rent it out for $400 and tell them that you want your 60-40 split above the $400.
I like that.
So now you got a little bit of safety, but you also have the benefit of an upside if they keep that place really, really busy.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I think.
Well, here's my bigger question. What is the rest of the building going to be used for?
So there's actually 5 different things: salon, she's staying, my headquarters, which entails with 2 offices and then a bigger like conference room. And then the one is 1,500 square foot that I'm working on. That's just going to be open. So I know you've kind of been pushing me. I'm going to do Champions Council and men's coaching in there. So I know the revenue will come from that, but I'm debating on also renting that out for other people to come in, to know who we are and to hopefully get them in the circle of Champions Council.
So here's the thing I want you to have be your mantra for the day. In fact, maybe the next few days, even a few weeks here. I want you to ponder the concept of dovetailing. What is dovetailing? Dovetailing is figuring out, how do I take this stuff over here and this stuff over here that seems unrelated? And how do I put them together? How do I make them work together? How do I take a hair salon, who's one of my tenants in my commercial building? How do I take that hair salon and make it make sense to what I'm doing over here in my seminar business or in my roofing business or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So the idea of dovetailing, how do I take, I'll give you an example for myself. How do I take the idea of me doing an entertainment show and use that entertainment show as a marketing tool for my live seminars? How do I take this broadcast and give away literally thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every single month? How do I do that, but yet still have the broadcast be the thing that drives people to my entertainment show, that also both drive things to my seminar, people to my seminar? So when you start thinking about every decision you make, it's not necessarily about how much can I maximize in dollars generated and dollars collected. It might be overall to the brand, there's a better mix of things. So if your center is a center of excellence in living, the ladies go there. Now you generate more value to that hair salon because that whole group of buildings is not just about who paid the rent, who was a willing tenant. Now it becomes, this is an excellence center. This is for not just any women to come in. This is for professional women to come in. Why would a professional woman go there? Well, because on Tuesday night, she came to an educational seminar in your other space, and that was one of the brochures on the wall because they're one of your tenants.
Yeah,
so you start sending them better clients. They start doing more business, and I'm not suggesting this is what you should do, but this is certainly what you want to think long-term brand. Now the value of that space becomes better because you're sending her better clients. And if she doesn't end up paying you more money, you just say, look, I'm going to bring in a tenant that'll pay me more money because I'm sending you all the clients.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Customers with customers. That's what I always say. Where do I find people who have customer lists or customer bases that I can give value to their customers, but their offers would also be extremely compatible with the offers that I have?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Well, brother, you're $100 richer. I pray you're taking your wife out to dinner on me with this.
I will, and I'll bring somebody else so they can hear about you.
Oh, I'd like that a lot. Yeah, 3 people. That's an appetizer and maybe a dessert if you share an entree. All right, brother. God bless. Take care. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir.
Man, I'm having so much fun. It is selfish of me. And again, Yesterday, my wife is a devout Christian. I'm a Christian too. We have different sensibilities about things. She's fairly evangelical. She's at church every Sunday, actively involved with the church. I go to church, church at least, every 3-4 weeks. So we're not cut out of the same cloth. I love Jesus. I love God deeply. We're not quite the same. We did a party yesterday, as we always do on New Year's Day. We don't really throw New Year's Eve parties, not just the lifestyle anymore. We threw a party yesterday, and some of the guests were pastors at her church. And I love this guy. I love his family. They're a lot of fun. And one of the things that I absolutely adore about him is he's a pastor at the church, yet we can have theological and we can have spiritual conversations where we don't agree. And I don't ever feel judged. I feel like he's got a position that he is heartfelt about, that he is committed to. And I have my own questions, and I certainly have positions based on what I believe today, except I'm open-minded to believe anything. And we were talking about a lot of things yesterday. And one of the things that I was talking to him about, and we were talking about the Bible, was just the idea to me that reality is created by validation. What does that mean? When something is real, we believe it's real by the number of data points that we received confirming that. If I think, gosh, Toyota builds a good car, and then I talk to my friend and he's got a Toyota, and I say, how many miles on your car? He says 100,000 miles. I get in my other buddy's Camry and I look down at the speedometer and it's got 150,000 miles. Well, then, because every time I look at a speedometer or talk to somebody, they talk to me about how many miles their cars run, my brain says, oh, Toyota must build cars that run a long time. Reality is created by validation. This show, the design of this show, is to give you so many examples of people that are making money, living good lives, being happy, waking up from the BS and the hypnosis, that you too would say, gosh, I want that. I want to wake up from the BS. I want to live a more fulfilled, joyful, honest life. I want what I know I deserve by my birthright. I'm a king's kid. We got a few people holding on and getting ready to get on the air. I think we can get one or more, maybe one more on today. Let's chat with Sarah.
Hey, Marshall. Hey.
Hello, Sarah. You look lovely.
Well, you look fantastic, Marshall. It is fantastic to meet you. I'm so happy to be here.
How did you find out about this show?
So, Marshall, you actually know my business partner, who is Zeb Halpern, and we wrote a book called Discover Your Amazing Edge, and you actually put a review on it. You may not remember because that was a little while ago.
What is your partner's name?
Zeb Halpern. He's in your inner circle. He's in Washington, D.C.
And because the audio, we're tweaking the audio. Spell the first name again.
Zev. Z is in zebra.
Absolutely. Yes. 100%. I love Zev. This man is remarkable. I have a very funny Zeb story to tell you. And yes, I adore that man, love his bride. And he and I did a relationship event together. And so, gosh, now I got it. Tell me more about what you're doing.
Oh, he and I wrote a book together, and you actually reviewed it. You may not remember. So
I do
your
remember
name is
now.
on the cover.
100%.
And we thank you for that. But I had a question. Since Zeb and I are both psychologists turned life coaches, the question is there room for another self-help book that talks about sex? Is there ever too much talk about sex? Is there ever too much of helping couples get close? What do you feel about that?
I'm looking for the cameras. I'm being punked here. I know I'm being punked here. Yes, of course, you know the answer. I don't know that it's a quantitative question, though. I think it's more of a subjective question. I'll tell the story because it's fitting right now, especially. Zev, of course, is a part of my inner circle. And at my inner circle, each of the people that are participating, they get a hot seat. And they get on the hot seat, and we talk about their business, and we talk about growing their business. And when Zeb got on the hot seat, I knew a little bit about his background. I'd done my research, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do to help him. So he gets on the hot seat, and I said, tell me about your business. And he says, I'm a psychotherapist. And I watched the room go like cringe. I watched them go a little bit cold. And I get it. I understood. Words have no meaning, yet people have meaning. And the term psychotherapy, in my opinion, in my experience, and in my observation of other people's experience, often is somebody only sees a psychotherapist when they're crazy. And
Right.
you know that's not true, but that's just the hypnosis.
It
So
is
I
the
asked him,
hypnosis.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I asked him, I said, who's your clients? And he said, couples. And I said, what do you do for couples? He said, mostly I help them get their sex life back. And, you know, and Zev is a Jewish man and very conservative and probably I'm level 63. I don't know exactly, maybe a year or two older than me. So quite conservative looking. And he got this little look on his face. I said, how do you help them with their sex lives? And he kind of grinned and looked around. He said, I give them toys. And I said, could you
Yes, that's what
expand? He said, well, I could, but so can the toys. And
Yes.
and so we laughed and we chatted about it and we had a great conversation. But what I gave to him during that session was I said, I don't think you should tell anybody you're a psychotherapist. I think that's the challenge with your business. I said, what I think you should do is if my wife and I are having challenges and I go to you, because, you know, my friend whispered and recommended that I go to you, I'm not going to tell my friends that we're seeing a psychotherapist. That's going to make me think my friends will think I'm crazy. But if I told my friends that I was seeing a stimulation expert, well, now that's sexy.
Yeah.
Now that's something I'm at a party and my friend says they're seeing a stimulation expert. I'm going to say, oh, really? I like stimulation. Just like you said, do we talk about sex enough? I like talking about sex. I like stimulation. Set me up.
Ultimates, right?
Yes. So yes, I do think we should talk about sex more. That's the challenge. We're not talking about it enough. We're talking about it with muffled tones and covered mouths. And Zev is coming out and saying, I give them a butt plug. I give them a dildo. I give them a vibrator. They're just what my PG-13 rating just went out the door. But
and hands out to his 80-year-old clients. It's wonderful.
Again, I believe that sex is a stimulation of the central nervous system. I do not think that the act of sex itself is the basis of a relationship, but I do think that if my central nervous system is stimulated well on a regular basis by a particular individual, I'm going to love them.
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much for calling in. You get $100.
Thank you.
Cha-ching.
Oh, thank you, Marshall.
You're very welcome. Copy the link, share it with your friends, and give Zev a big hug for me and tell him I look forward to chatting with him soon. I'll see you at Turning Point. What fun. Hey, I've had a blast. If you've had fun, yes, if you just tuned in and you're not quite sure what's going on with this broadcast or what we're doing, this is an excellent opportunity for you to make money without even putting any real effort out. Every single day, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. till noon Pacific, when I'm not on stage teaching. So next week, we're going to do another week of testing, working out some technical challenges. The next week, I'm on stage all week for live events. But the following week, we are going live on a regular basis, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. till noon. All you got to do is tune in. We're going to be live. We will stream every single day on multiple platforms. And all you got to do is go to MarshallSilverLive.com. If you haven't already gone there, if you're just watching me on the stream on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you are, if you're just watching me on the stream, go to MarshallSilverLive.com. Register for a free account. No cost. Nothing's going to be sold to you there. All you got to do is log in. And when you do, you'll get a replicated website. That means you'll be automatically signed up to be an affiliate. And when you go to the dashboard of that replicated website, it will have a page called the homepage and some links that you can share immediately to tell people about our show. And it also under assets, it'll give you your personal, one-of-a-kind, unique link that you can post on your social media in stories, with videos, with photos, whatever you like. And also we'll give you some pre-created assets, videos, and posts and banners and such, so that you can tell people all about the show. Every time you call in, just like Sarah and Chase and Dustin and Diane, just like those people did, every single time you call in, you get $100. I mean, every single time. It's that easy. Just call me. I'll give you $100. Your friends call me. I'll give them $100, and I'll give you $20 every single time. It's fun. It's a new year. Velocity is a good thing. I'm Marshall Silver. You are totally loved. I've had a blast hanging with you today. Thanks so much for helping me as we test systems to get things going. And like I said, $100 will buy you a nice dinner, maybe might even pay your cell phone bill. Tell enough friends, and heck, might even pay your car payment every single month without buying or selling anything. All you got to do is love me some Marshall Silver. Share this link, share the post, and we'll all win together. God bless. Happy, happy, happy New Year. I'll see you soon.